Hello and welcome back to another one of my Minecraft tutorials. This is a suggested tutorial from SuperMrCODfreak, and he asked me to make a tree farm, and I've done just that. I've also done some research, and I've come up with a couple different designs for tree farms. So before I begin, I have the left side over here sectioned into the finished product. I have the middle here sectioned into the blueprint or template for how you should build the tree farm, and I have the right side for a build through, which is me going to be building it and showing you and explaining it. So without further ado, let's begin. So on the left here I have a 9 by 13 perimeter, and it has 62 saplings, I believe, with a torch next to each sapling. And this yields a very fast log rate, but reduces the amount of saplings and apples you receive, I believe, because each tree kind of shares its own leaves, so you may not get as much back. This is very effective for log yield. And I have it also sectioned off at the top at, I believe, 9. This is to keep really large trees from growing, so it's really easy to cut down and replant. Now when making this, I strongly recommend you use a different material for perimeter for block that you put torches on. That way you can remember if you accidentally knock one of these out, you remember where it goes. Now over here I have the pine and birch tree farm. Each one is separated by 2 blocks and has a torch next to each one of them, and that's because it needs light to grow, and same tree can share leaves, but different trees cannot share leaves. So these different trees, if you have tree farms next to each other, make sure they have 4 blocks separating them. And this is these right here are both space efficient. And for the birch and pine trees, I have it capped out at 10, and they grow more. I want to say more quickly. However, if they're at 9, they'll still grow, but they won't grow as fast. And if they're capped out at 10, I believe you need to stand on the trunk to harvest them, but it's still pretty easy to collect the lumber. Now over here is the tree farms that I like to use, and that's because they have maximum sapling yield and apple yield, at least for oak trees. I have this capped out at 9 and the birch and pine capped out at 10. This looks more aesthetically, I want to say nice. It has more space. It might be easier to harvest, I'm not sure. But this definitely yields more apples because you have more leaf space. Alright, so now let's go to the blueprint for the 80% tree farm. Now the red is the perimeter, the white is where I like to place my torches, and every part of the lime green is where you're going to place the saplings. So you can see this has a very high sapling number. It might look odd, it might not look like it grows, but trust me, it works very well, and you get lots of logs. All right, now let's build it. So right here, I already have some of the white wool blocks for ease of building. This is a 9 by 13, so we have 13 going this way and 9 going this way. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, place a torch. I'm going to go down 2, left 1, and I'm going to place my wool. And this is how I usually remember placing the torch areas. I go down 1, right 2, and you can keep doing that. So it'll look like this. Down 2, left 1. And you can do down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. And you can keep repeating that pattern. So I'm going to hurry up and finish building this. Okay, so I've finished placing all of the white wool blocks, and now I'm going to place the torches. Okay, now that I've placed the torches, it's time to fill it in with saplings. And every spot in this is ready for saplings. Okay, and that's how to make the 80% efficient oak tree farm. Now let's move on to the birch and pine. Alright, before I forget, don't forget to cap this out at 9 so your trees don't become extra large if you don't want them to. So I'm going to count up 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then at the ninth block, I'm going to place a wool block and put this above each sapling, or what I did over here was just a complete roof. And that'll keep big trees from spawning. Okay, so now let's go to the birch and pine. And for this, it's much simpler. It's just, I have the lime green blocks is where you're going to plant the saplings, and the whites where the torches are going to be. And they're separated by 2 blocks each, in each direction. So I'm going to place where I'm going to put the torches, and that's 2 blocks, I believe, in each corner. And then the sapling. Just like that. So each one is separated by 2. I'm going to lay down the torches. Now if you want to build the birch tree next to it, you're going to have to count out 4 spaces. Otherwise you're going to have like conflict. Okay, now it's time for the torches. Alright, so that's how you do the pine and birch. And here I'm going to cap it out at 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then here's the 10th. So then you're going to make a roof up here. So that way they don't become too large. At least for the pine trees, they can become very tall and you won't be able to harvest them unless you build yourself a little ladder. Okay, so now here's the tree farm that I like to make. It's not as space efficient, but you definitely get more saplings. So it begins, you're going to count up 2 from each corner of where you're building. You'll put the sapling down, and then you're usually going to put some kind of torch. It doesn't really matter where the torch goes. But each one is separated by a total of 4 blocks, and that's because when they grow, the leaf blocks only go out 2 blocks from the center. So this way you get maximum amount of leaf blocks. That way you can get most amount of apples and saplings. And it works out pretty nicely. It also looks kind of nice. It's not so as compact as the 80%, but you can choose which one you want to use. These are just some of the ones that I like to use. Now I hope you found this tutorial helpful, or at least somewhat interesting for whenever you guys decide to make your tree farms. Feedback, I will always try to reply to your comments. Don't forget to leave a suggestion. This video was made because of a suggestion, and I really appreciate all of the feedback. It makes doing this a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys next time.